What's poppin'? It's your boy Maria Pearl. I'm an art director and graphic designer and obsessed with all things thrifting. Since '09, I've successfully put together stylish outfits for less than a Nando's meal. Come with me on this fun, whimsical adventure, joined by my guests in this 4-part series exploring everything thrift related in the streets of London. Today, I'm deep in the streets of South London, my ends, come on, with my friend David Sonubi, aka The Commissioner, who's a founding member of High Roller Collective. With years of experience working in music and being behind some of the biggest moments in London black nightlife, I thought, who better to go vinyl thrifting with? He's made the journey all the way from No Signal's Tottenham studio to meet me in South. We're starting off in Beckenham at Wanted Music. Roll true! I can't afford to get any more records. You are the sole reason why I have so many to begin with.
So down back 2021?
Yeah.
That was a good time, man.
It literally was just because it was on your story, like for bands. The covers for me are actually more important than the music most of the times.
It's crazy because like I was reading something the other day about last year they sold more vinyls in the music industry than streaming.
Really?
But 80% of the people that bought vinyls do not even have a record player. They just bought it for aesthetics purposes.
That is literally how it started.
It looks, the detail that can get on it and all of that stuff. They don't actually buy it to listen to it. So yeah man, I feel like there's a lot of people like you. Yeah,
because I do graphic design, like 3 out of 4 times, I'm looking at it for inspo.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the records that I've bought is solely for graphic design. I haven't even listened to them yet. Yeah. And I was one of the people in the statistic that had and like a collection before the player.
A lot of these things is like the fonts that they make.
Yeah, the typography and stuff.
There was a record that we saw earlier.
This one.
Crazy. Like the Rough Riders.
The fact that I even recognised that, I've actually done a graphic like this before.
Yeah.
I am still in 2007. That is my year.
That's your favourite.
That's where I am.
That's your favourite.
It's not even my favourite. That's just where I am. I haven't left.
So next week you can change?
No.
Okay.
I've been in 2007 for about 4 years.
Okay, cool.
That is like, because me and nostalgia, hand in hand.
Yeah.
Do you have anything specifically that represents nostalgia?
I feel like it's in the music that when I work on music, like on the A&R producer side, like I always do a thing where it's like, if I have Tidal. And
so good.
Tidal's good because it gives you the credits to the detail. And then you can also click on the producer to see what they've done before. So if I like a song, I'll see it says that's 3 producers there. I'll click on each producer to see what they've done before, and then I'll find that, okay, this person, that there's a specific sound. It's not really like a melody or anything I'm trying to copy, but it's like a sound. It might be like a snare sound or like an organ sound that I'm looking for, and then I can find that, okay, that producer done it this many times, and I can hit them up and be like, yo,
oh wow,
really
you actually
that sound that
them.
Yeah, man, because, and then that's my way of nostalgia, because it's like, okay, I'm not like trying to just sample and re-sample things. It's certain sounds that they were creating in the 2000s and the 90s and the 80s, 70s that they're just not creating now. You know? That's when you like the Rhodes piano, like that was made in the 70s, and that's that keyboard or the Rhodes is what defined the sound of the 70s, you know? And there's nothing today, like everything is just remaking what was done before. Nothing was made for to now. Okay, this is going to define the sound of today. Because it's like, I don't know, we're in this weird cycle in life where I feel like we've recycled everything possible. We've gone as far back to the 60s in sampling and style and everything. It's like, okay, when do we now create something now?
I don't know. I can't even predict what might come next.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and Tank was saying that he opened for Yin Yang Twins, so he went on tour with Yin Yang Twins, and I was like, why is he on tour with Yin Yang? But it worked. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but it just shows that, like, I don't know why we're just in this era where everything has to be so separate. It's like, why does everything have to be so separate? Why can't I listen to, I don't know, Flow and then also listen to Nux in the same show, and then right after, I don't know, Hackmaker. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
So is there anything, did you have like a pin drop moment when you wanted to start better listening, where it was like, no, I'm done, like this is it, I have to do it myself? Is it anything to do with like other things you've been part of, like No Signal or diaspora dance and just all of those things together? Did you feel like it was missing something there and you had to
like I feel
have
like
a new branch?
The offerings that we have, like when it comes to like Recess, No Signal, like Diaspora Dance is an event that No Signal does. Like they're all very club-led events, you know. And me, I've done a lot of clubbing in my time, but it's not like a thing that I say that I love doing. It's not a thing that I've always wanted to do. I'm doing because I want to socialize with my friends and I want to have fun. But to enjoy music, I've never enjoyed music in that way only. Do you know what I'm saying? I've always enjoyed music in more intimate settings. I've always enjoyed music where I'm hearing someone else's taste and enjoying their taste as well, you know, sharing music. For example, last year I went to a chess club, big up Kojo, he does a chess club in Brixton. And just the music that they're just playing from their Spotify out loud, I'm just hearing, I'm Shazamming stuff. I'm like, yo, this is cool, I really like this. Or I travel a lot, you know what I'm saying, go to different countries, see what people are playing, you know. Like, I remember I went to Amsterdam and I was waiting for my train to go back to London. So I was just chilling around the canal and just kept wasting time, basically. Then across the canal, some guy was playing some music at his car. And it sounded crazy. When I mean this, I've got it on record. I actually went to go and buy the record, and I found the record in Amsterdam the next time I came.
Wow.
And this record was just crazy. I was like, yo, what the hell is this? I went over to him like, yo, what song is this? And he showed me on Spotify. I was like, thank you so much. But just moments like that, do you know what I mean? Like, because of the internet, it feels like human beings aren't so like approachable anymore. But there was a time where you had to ask people,
of course,
about
what
music.
Is that?
You had to ask people, what are you listening to? But now it's like, Spotify have now AI DJs and they have AI generated playlists, and it's like, that's cool because it's like, it just uses your taste and molds it.
Yes, it can be personal to an extent.
I don't want you to give me what I would like. I want to hear what someone else is. You know what I'm saying? I want to discover some stuff as well.
Of course.
Discovering is not finding something you know, it's finding something you don't know.
Definitely. I think, again, like bringing it back, that's sometimes the beauty of coming to these record shows, because it's like, you go to a different place, you don't know the collection they have. Yep. Like every shop you walk into, you still have that experience, that first time experience of like seeing like, oh, well, they've got this, oh my God, they got this, I can't believe this, I can't believe this. Like even seeing some of the stuff that you collected earlier, it's just like, where are you going to find all of those things in one place?
Honestly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And South London, I'm telling you about South London. I don't know what it is, but South London have the best collection.
Something special about South.
It's crazy.
From Beckenham, we move to Peckham. A stone throw away from Peckham Rye, it's a community staple and Black-owned. Maestro Records. Who is that? Who is this?
Stephen Osita Sotheby. So he had some song called Osondi Owedu.
Okay.
I don't have to say it.
I wouldn't know.
But a lot of Nigerians sampled it, a lot of Afro beats. So you heard the artist called Flavor?
No.
You know that record? You don't know it? So surely you know that record.
I might know.
Oh my gosh, big record.
Maybe I know.
Even in Jamaica, they love that record.
Maybe if I hear it, I know.
So only one of his early records, he sampled this guy. Do you know what I'm saying? Big record.
So I didn't really listen to much of this growing up. I know that my mum played a lot of Motown.
What's your favourite record of your dad? Do you have a favourite record of your dad?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I just recognise his voice. And I was listening to some of his albums the other day and it was very vibey. I think for me, it's just what I really love about his music and Juju music as a whole is how they have it in like segments. Like the album is just one song or maybe two songs and they're like half an hour long each. That's one thing that I love. And then another thing that I really love is how they have the segment for singing and then the segment of just music. And that's kind of like my favorite thing, because you don't really hear that much in like day to day. Obviously songs are 3-4 minutes, like you might get your longer ones. You don't get like a 19-minute track. Do you know what I mean? And that's just something that I really love. But I would definitely sample his music. I think he's got some like really good bits. I just feel like music in that era was really, I don't even know the word I can think of, but I felt like they cared a lot more, like how you were talking about sampling and stuff. I feel like that music was made from scratch. They were inspired by something. They went into the studio, they made it, they thought about the melodies. Everything is kind of in sync.
And your dad specifically, like with Juju music, it was like kind of groundbreaking. That's kind of why he was very famous, because it was kind of new in terms of when you go back to like the history of Yoruba music. It's a lot of drums, you know, and then you think of like Apala music is drums. Then early days of Fuji was just drums, and then people like Barista started adding piano, then Wasi was doing the same thing, adding xylophones. And then when Juju music came, it was like, because what they were talking about, even though they're having fun, they added gospel songs to it. Even till today, they're still singing your dad's music in churches. Like, up till today, that got the biggest thanks offering songs in Yoruba came from your dad. So them adding guitars, mixing with the drums, so it was like mixing high life with Fuji, and it's like now this nice Juju flavor. I used to be in a Juju band myself.
What were you playing? Drums?
I was playing drums, but then mainly an instrument called the umili, so it's like a small percussion, but it keeps the rhythm basically. And I did that from like 2011, let's say safely 2010 till about 2016 was probably the last time I did it. Yeah, man, but it was fun.
Up again.
Nah.
Why not?
Nah, it's you'd be sweating. We'd be playing for like, as you said, this
30-minute
record. It was half an hour record, but I'm sure the show that they did was like a 4-hour gig, straight non-stop, and they just put, because half an hour is all you could put on the vinyl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if they were to say how long that they were playing for the party, 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
And they'll pay you peanuts. So I'm thinking, what the hell am I doing here playing, sweating, getting £50 at the end of the gig? I'm like, yeah, this is dead. I'm not sure how far back it goes, but I know that my granddad was a drummer, my dad was a drummer, my brother's a drummer, I'm a drummer too.
Was there specific drums that they played, or?
Yeah, so my granddad was definitely more traditional drums with the hands.
Sick.
And because my dad grew up with a lot of Egun people, and they are like, everything they do is drums by the hands, and they don't really use like pianos. They do, and they do have guitars and that, because it was like a French colony, so they do have little French influences when it comes. Like when you hear their music, when they play piano and keyboard, you might think they're Congolese people. I'm telling you, because there's very similar rhythms and everything like that. But it's just because of the French colony, everything got mixed around and stuff like that. But it's usually a lot of hands and a big drum called a kuba, and you can literally play it with your elbow. And it's really deep drum, and that's what my dad's really good at. And his granddad's really good at that. And then drum set, I can play it. Not as good, but I can play it.
Okay.
But drum set, because drum set is more like a westernized drum. So it was something more like that they just did because everyone's doing it, but really it was traditional drums that my family were really good at.
Sick. I mean, do you think that then influenced your dad's taste in music and your dad's style 100%. And his collection? Is there any of them that stood out to you or influenced you, or do you have any memories of him playing anything when you were younger? Like, what kind of emotions does that evoke?
Synchro System, Sunny Ade's record, that was a big record in our house.
Love that for you.
My dad loved that. But my dad was also like a big fan of Barista.
Same.
Like he loved both my parents, both of my mum and my dad actually. Can't lie, my mum has this, like, because my mum has a best friend who is related to Barista. So apparently, she says, but we always say she's lying. But apparently he was at my brother's christening and he held my brother when he was younger, and he was in the house christening. I believe her, but I don't believe her at the same time. Like his music specifically, like every time I hear it, it just always reminds me of my parents because like we'll be chilling on a Sunday. Like I remember in the pandemic, which kind of brought us all closer because we was all back home together. It kind of reminded me more because on Sundays in the pandemic, and because I'm at home and I'm playing music in the living room, they'd be like, oh, play something. I'm like, what do you want? You don't always say, play Barista. Do you know what I'm saying? Or play something. So it reminded me, this was the records you guys loved because it was vinyls back then and now it's not.
I'm guessing you listening to all of this music again and kind of refreshing your ear made you change the way you navigate through the music industry.
Yeah, it did. Like the way I started in the music industry was very much like, is it a hit? Is this gonna sell? Blah, blah, blah. That's the way I was kind of like taught in terms of like my mentors. And not to say it's a wrong way of thinking, but along the way you can kind of like forget your taste and your roots and where you come from.
Absolutely.
So being back at home and hearing what my parents are playing, even with my brother and my younger sisters are playing, it's like just reminds me of, okay, cool, this is what kind of built me up. And then now when I'm now trying to make new music in this new life of my career, I'm like trying to make sure that I'm hitting the same taste levels and quality levels of the records I grew up on, instead of just trying to make for people today. I'm trying to make what I like, and then hopefully a lot of people can enjoy it with me.
Yeah, find your community almost and have people come to you.
Maestro Records has been in Peckham on Rye Lane for about 27 years. It was on the high street. Unfortunately, the rates went up, our lease ran out. So instead of the shop closing down, I decided to go alone by myself. The majority of our customers, they've been with us since school days. They've now grown up into teenagers and adults, and they're still with us buying records.
You know what, that even applies to clothes as well. Because obviously during the pandemic, I had my brand, Razor Denim, RZR Denim, Razor Denim. And yeah, people were just trying to stay alive. Like, no one cared about buying jeans, honestly. They didn't care about buying jeans. And it made me go back to my roots, which was just kind of like thrifting, saving money. People were losing their jobs. They didn't care to buy jeans. Do you know what I mean? So I was able to use that, my brand and my social media accounts. I changed that up and focused more on the graphic design and the aesthetics. And then I realized, okay, cool, that has led me to like social content consultation. And I realized that even throughout the pandemic, I didn't struggle in any way to like upload stuff. Like I could draw blood from a stone. And I was like, I can apply this to like different areas in my life, right? So when I got bored with Razor, I was just like, okay, again, my roots have always been thrifting because I initially thrifted the denim and customized them and sold them. That's how it was. And I was like, okay, that's limiting. Let me go back to just clothes, just everyday clothes and things like that. So I was just thinking, and almost every week, I think a couple of times a week, I would do these hauls on socials and then just be like, good morning, church, this is what I bought, blah, blah, blah. And then people would always say to me like, oh, Maria, take me with you. Where'd you find all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And at first I wanted to gatekeep. I was like, no, let me not gatekeep. Let me just...
Gatekeeping is good at times. Though.
At times.
That's good.
So I was just like, I'm not going to tell you where I get my stuff from because I don't need you guys near my house. But then I realized that this has now become a need in terms of people saving money. You still look good. You're still on trend. Everything I'm wearing, literally, my joggers were hand-me-downs, but everything else is thrifted. Like my shoes are £4. This was I think this was like £8.
Crazy.
So I've always been good with just finding cheap clothes and making it look good. So I was like, okay, let me offer this service to people and let me find an area that have a variety of shops. Let me take you there. You can browse yourself and find stuff because that's something that I realized that people struggle with, actually finding the places.
100.
So yeah, I literally started Thrifting with Pearly.
Yeah.
That started off as like an in-person thing, which I still kind of have here and there.
Yeah.
And it will literally be a group of like between 5 to 10 people, and we'll meet up in a certain place. And then I'll just literally take them to a variety of shops. We'll be in there for like certain number of minutes, maybe like half an hour per shop. And then yeah, just find a bargain and go home, and then you can do your own hauls.
Yeah.
And yeah, now
But
we've expanded to this.
For you, thrifting is like, for me, sorry, looking at you, thrifting is like the main thing, yeah. But like we're in this era where like thrifting is like this cool thing, everyone's doing it. But the reason why your thrifting was attractive to me is the style. I was like, where did you get that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you talk about your pops and the music, but where did the style? Because everyone can thrift and but to be able to get the right things and piece them together, well, you know what I mean? That's a different conversation.
Do you know what's crazy? So obviously my dad, Sunny Ade, he's the music guy, man, like, but my mum was the fashion guy or gal. And she used to style a lot of his stuff.
Okay.
Because there was even like a album cover that he had, and my mum was like, you know, I bought him that shirt.
Crazy.
I was like, all right, sorry, bad man. But she was like, yeah, I bought him that shirt. Or she used to have a big say in like what he would wear and stuff like that. So my mum has always been a fashion person.
Okay.
I didn't really realize, and she would like thrift here and there, and I used to be really embarrassed. And then,
so your mum used to thrift?
Yeah, my mum used to thrift. She doesn't really that much anymore because she just can't be bothered. But my mum used to thrift, and she would like go to different areas, like the rich areas, and like thrift there and get all these designer things. I honestly didn't care for it.
So was it embarrassed that she's wearing secondhand other people's clothes, or was it embarrassed that she was going to rich areas? Like, what was it?
Do you know what? Yeah, my mum would like take us with her, and she would walk in the shop, and I would literally stand outside and look left and right to see if anyone's there, and then run inside. That's how mad it was. Like, who would have thought I now have a business?
But why?
I don't know. I think it was just like, there was that stigma of like, oh, you're wearing dead people's clothes. It's like, not everyone's dead.
I was about to say, dead people's clothes? Like,
that's what people used to say. They were just
crazy.
like, oh, I could never do that. Like, it's so dirty and all of that stuff. But even going in there, you can find brand new things. There's such a variety. I mean, I have seen some things in my time. But yeah, I think even for me, outside of trying to remove that stigma of like, oh, charity secondhand, it's just like, you save money, you look good. The quality of the clothes is much better than what you have now. Like, the stuff we have today is actual arse. Yeah. Everything's falling apart. The stuff before was like made well. It was tailored to the human body, and they just kind of cared about the manufacturing a lot more. For me anyway, I feel like just seeing the things that my mum picked up, and her style specifically, it was very like vintage glam. So I would always kind of see the best of the best. The things that she would get would be really good. Like at the time, I didn't really care for like Jaeger and all of that stuff. Like she would, I got a Jaeger blazer, like all of that. Like I didn't care for it. But now being older and just kind of looking at how it was made, it's like I get it. And I understand now why my mum can have something that can last for like 10, 15 years. Do you know what I mean? So that concludes today's episode of Thrifting with Pearly. I want to give a big thank you to our guest, David, for coming on. It only makes sense to have you on board. David is the sole reason I have a vinyl collection to begin with. So this is a full circle moment for us. And I'm just so happy that we could share our bond and our love for vinyl, especially vintage vinyl, and just share it with you guys. So David, tell everyone where they can find you.
Thank you for having me, Maria.
Of course.
Appreciate you. You can find me on Instagram, David Sonubi with 2 eyes, or on TikTok, Commissioner 101.
Spell the surname.
Sonubi, 2 eyes for Instagram.
And you can find me at Maria Pearly on Instagram and Maria Pearly with 3 Ys on TikTok.